Well, before Kenny Thomas strummed his guitar for a living, he carried a rifle and he fought in one of the best-known battles of modern warfare. Take a look.
Keni Thomas is an up-and-coming country music star who has shared the stage with the likes of Vince Gill, Brad Paisley, and Keith Urban. What you may not know is that Keni is a former U.S. Army Ranger, and he served in the mission known as Black Hawk Down.
On this particular day, we raided into a downtown part of Mogadishu. We knew going in it was a bad part of town, but what we didn't know is when we came out, we would lose 18 guys.
Today, Keni shares a message of hope with a guitar, not a rifle. And in his book, Get It On, he shares lessons of courage and faith from that fateful day in Somalia.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Kenny Thomas. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Quite a story, quite a story. You say that 3 words that you heard in Somalia changed your life forever. What do you mean?
Well, get it on. That was the call to action. I was honest, I was writing a letter home to my mom. We had a day off. It was a Sunday afternoon, one day off from training, and a guy walks out of the airplane hangar and yells, "Get it on." And it was just like that. Everything changes.
Train as you fight, fight as you train. That's a creed that you talk about a lot in your book called Get It On.
Right.
Talk about the significance of that.
Well, train as you fight, fight as you train is one of those military sayings. And the point is that you're only going to be as good as you prepared yourself to be. You train as you fight and fight as you train. So what you do is you make sure that you use tough, realistic training. You can call training what you want. We can call it practice. We can call it rehearsal. You all can call it Bible study. You can call it self-improvement. But you're only going to be as good as you've made yourself to be, and the people around you are only going to be as good as you hold them to.
So you really have to invest yourself fully.
Absolutely.
In what you're driving
It doesn't just
for.
miraculously come. You have to really practice hard.
You've been through some amazing things in your life. I mean, some challenges, some struggles, some times when it looked like your dream wasn't going to happen. I talk about your faith and how that sustained you.
Well, I'll tell you, here's my opinion on faith. I think that the stronger your faith is the more at peace you can be with life and what it brings to you. And what you start learning is that if you get off the path, he will let you know pretty quick. He'll start slapping you around, and then and that's called pain. And you'll realize that you need to get back to where you're supposed to be. And it does. I'm not saying that life gets easier. I just know that the choices get simpler. When you have a faith and you know where you're supposed to be. And that's the hard part, is finding out, okay, and accepting that this is where I'm supposed to be. Because that path will be made for you. You just have to be able to accept it.
Even if it doesn't look like the path.
Because you're going to fight it, and you're going to think, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. This isn't what I want. But it is.
Have you always had faith? Did you grow up in a
Yes, ma'am.
family?
Sure did. We grew up in Gainesville, Florida at Trinity United Methodist. And I was in the choir, and that's where all the music started. And
that's awesome. What's the most important thing that your military service taught you? I mean, that's some rigid training and some real focus. What do you think in that helped shape your character?
The most important thing you pull out of your military training, that's a big question, but I would tell you mainly what I'll take from that is what I try and tell everybody else, is that leadership's not about the rank. Because the stories that I'll end up telling you are not going to be about the generals and the colonels. It's going to be about the Private David Floyds,
the guys
who in the beginning weren't much, but then through hard work and the good fortune of the people that were around them, they became somebody that we could all look to set the example for others to follow. And that's how you make a difference through your leadership, which is the example that you set.
You made a big transition. I mean, you were in the military, and now you're a well-known singer-performer. How'd that happen?
I just handed in my rifle and picked up my guitar.
Microphone, right?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. I think I tell people music is a disease. I don't know that you can ever get rid of it. We actually had the band started when I was in the military still. So.
Wow. You almost took a job in Iraq and didn't do the other.
That's true.
How'd that?
Well, you're so well prepared. Yeah, that's true. A really good buddy of mine, this is a neat story. His name's Jeff Struker. Jeff was in the battle with us, and he was a sergeant. And Jeff went on to become a chaplain in the military. And I had gone to Nashville, and the music career wasn't working out the way I wanted to. It was taking too long. And Jeff calls me out of the blue. Now, this is a preacher calling me out of the blue. And he says, "Hey, Kenny," and he basically, what he tells me is, "I think it's thank you for wanting to go back and serve. He goes, but I'm going to tell you, he goes, I don't know anyone else that can do what you do. You are the voice for us. You can play a song, and with one song, you can do more than I can do with a year's worth of sermons. He goes, so I'm going to tell you why I don't think you should come back in. Wow. So short of a burning bush, I don't know of any other way that he can speak to you pretty directly. It was a chaplain called me, and so I said, all right, Jeff, you're right. And I called up, didn't take the job in Iraq. And that year, with 6 months later, the record got put out, and we had our first an unexpected hit.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
You're going to sing for us today a song called Hold the Line. What's the significance of that?
Hold the Line. And this is the first time I've ever gotten to play this one for anyone, so I'm excited about it. Hold the Line is I had a buddy of mine who's from right here in Virginia, and he was retiring, and in his speech, he got up there and he talked about how it had been his privilege to hold the line. And I realized that holding the line, you know, we don't all get to carry rifles anymore. I get to carry a guitar, but you can still count on me to do my part to hold the line, because it's about the person on your left and about the person on your right. And if all of us aren't working in conjunction, the line falters. And that's in all aspects of our life. So I went back and I got with my favorite writers, Billy and Brent, and I was like, man, I got this idea, and the song went like that.
Don't you love it when that happens?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I always like when writers say, you know, and God showed up that day. And I was like, wait, what day is he not there? Is what because it was just, we actually happened to listen to what he was saying. That song came like that. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's really awesome. Well, I want to say that the name of the book is Get It On. And I'm going to release you, Keni, to go over and get ready to sing, if you will. And you're going to find messages that have to do with leadership, developing character, doing your part. And so this book is available everywhere the books are sold around the country. But right now, enjoy, for the first time, Keni Thomas singing Hold the Line.
Blood on their knuckles, mud on their face. They fall back to the huddle for one last play. Quarterback says, you gotta buy me some time. I can get us there, boys, but you gotta hold the line. Hold the line, hold the line. Shoulder to shoulder and side by side. Just give it your best, yeah, and I'll give it mine. We can win this together if we hold the line. Elbows on the table, got his head in his hands. 20 years on a job he never thought would ever end. But his wife says we'll make it, yeah, we're gonna be just fine. We got each other, and we're gonna hold the line. Hold the line, hold the line. Shoulder to shoulder and side by side. Yeah, you gotta have faith, the sun's gonna shine. We'll get through this together if we hold the line. So he gets choked up when the bugle plays, and he remembers the battle like it was just yesterday. And he knows he owes his life to the ones left behind, and for their sacrifice he gonna hold the line. Hold the line, hold the line. Shoulder to shoulder and side by side. In a world going crazy, yeah, in these troubled times, we gotta all stand together. We gotta hold the line. Yeah, in a world going crazy, in these troubled times, we gotta all stand together. We gotta hold the line.